BWI Daily Edition. Breaking news here on the YouTube channel. I'm your host, Thomas Frank Carr. Ryan Snyder with me as we break down another commitment for Penn State football. So, Ryan, Mr. Recruiting Insider, tell us what's going on with Penn State football today with another commitment.
I've never been called an insider before you, T. Frank. It's always weird to me being called an insider.
Do you
but
like
anyway,
it?
I don't know.
Feels official.
Hey, whatever. I'll go with it. King Mack, guys. Penn State got their safety, I guess. Maybe a quarterback. We'll find out down the road. I have him at 5'10", 175. I think he's a tad bit short than that, maybe 5'9.5", 5'9", 3/4. We'll give him 5'10" on the profile page, though. And look, here's what you need to know. This one has been in the works for a while, right? We've been talking about it for, I don't know, a couple months now. But this one came down to a little bit of a battle here with Michigan State, and more than I expected here a couple months ago. I was being told in April that his official visit should be kind of more of a celebration, right? And that he should leave there committed, and that didn't happen, which, okay, I was still hearing good things after that. But man, over the last couple of days, there was a lot of talk about Michigan State and the surge they made. So the fact that Penn State got this done is big. The staff has really wanted King Mack for a long time now. And I think when fans look at the size, they think like, oh, doesn't match what you always see at safety or even cornerback. But, talking to people, you can take these kind of guys every couple of years. You don't want to take them every year where they're a bit undersized. But, man, when you watch King Mack's film, 11 minutes of just play after play after play. Like, this is a football player, guys. This is what T. Frank loves. I know. I'm sure you're going to get into here in a sec, T. Frank. But but Penn State's really excited about this one. And, of course, Conrad Hussey's committed too. So that's two guys now at St. Thomas Aquinas that they get over a line. But Mel Tucker and his staff, they made this a fight for the Nittany Lions, but they're happy to get number 16 in the bank.
Yeah, and we'll get into a little bit his film in just a little bit on our, a pseudo T. Frank's film room here. But one of the main things that I want to know when we look at King Mack is what sort of impact does this have for the class? Because now you've got 3 safeties in the class, and you've got all kinds of body types. So are there long-term projections, kind of like a tight end, where you're mixing and matching in the secondary, or are all 3 of these guys safeties, or is it kind of somewhere in the middle with that group?
It's a good question. We knew Daniel Harris, right, was their top cornerback prospect, and I expect him to end up at Georgia. I believe he's committing tomorrow, I believe it is. So Daniel's pretty much off the board. I could see Penn State going for a true corner, but there's not too many guys right now truly popping out at me. Jakeem Jackson's really the one, I guess, but there's a lot of talk about Florida and Tennessee with him. Although I will say Penn State seems to continuously kind of hint that they're in this race. So let's see where that ends up. But right now, yes, you have Conrad committed. You have Lamont committed. You have King Mack committed. And, of course, you have Dakaari Nelson. So you have 4 quality defensive backs there. I could see a 5th. But I also look, defensive tackles, the position we keep coming back to. There's a lot of depth there. They already have 2 D tackles committed. They have 2 defensive ends committed. If they stack up extra scholarships to some of these positions, well, then, yeah, I could see it ending at where it is right now for defensive backs. Again, and also linebacker. We're expecting Tony Rojas. We're expecting Tamir Robinson. Kavion Keys is somebody who a lot of good things were said about coming out of official visit weekend this past Sunday. So keep an eye. It's really getting fluid now. We're getting to that back half of the class where every commitment impacts another commitment. So I think time will tell. And even offense too. If they were to get a Stanton Ramel and an Evan Link, well, yeah, we were projecting 6 at one point. It'll probably end up at 5. But just if there's a position or 2 or wide receiver, if Cam Selvin, who's now I guess apparently going to be a wide receiver recruit for Penn State. Again, just every scholarship impacts the next one from here on out, basically. And I could see another defensive back, but I could also see 3 linebackers. I could see multiple defensive tackles, and there's a lot of ways this could go.
Yeah, one of the things I wrote in the and you basically, I should say, you ghost wrote part of my mock class yesterday because all of the work I'm doing is based on your reporting. But to me, what I see is if Penn State gets a second corner in this class, it's most likely coming from a different position. So with King Mack, is he that guy? Is he not that guy? And that's, I think, why he's such an important piece of this puzzle, because you look at the position versatility, which we'll get into here in a little bit. We're talking about his film, but these are just some of the positions I think he can play. He can play that true field safety, the free safety. He obviously has the body type to be a slot corner, but not only in a slot corner, part of your responsibilities are run defense, and he is good at that. So a slot corner, but also, and this is something I've written about before, Jaquan Johnson, who was probably more of a true 5'10", but 5'10", 190 pounds, played for Manny Diaz at Miami in 2018. He played the striker position. He played that Jonathan Sutherland Sam linebacker job. So size isn't necessarily the problem. You just got to play big. And at 175-ish pounds, King Mack, the question to me is, can he get up to 190? Can he be kind of an all-around defender? Because then that opens up the possibility that he can play all three of those positions, where he is big enough and strong enough in run defense that he can play some select rundowns. He can be that guy that's full-time on the football field. So I know I've kind of highlighted Dakaari Nelson as the guy that could be that striker to take things to the next level, but really the point of it is versatility. And if you've got a guy like King Mack that has the versatility, this is another solution to that 11th defender problem. So for Penn State, we're in this fluid situation with the class. Anything other thoughts on King Mack or what this means for Penn State before we get into some of my deeper thoughts on his film evaluation?
Not too much. It's just, like you said, the versatility with the defensive backs. Dakaari Nelson could probably play linebacker. Conrad Hussey, we're listing as a safety right now, but honestly, he could probably play corner. And then Lamont Payne, listed as a corner, but could probably play safety. So there are a lot of ways that they can mix and match this class, and it'll be interesting to see. Of course, even if they add another, then too, it'll be intriguing to watch here, especially if these guys all do sign. What we hear from Franklin down the road as far as where they'll start. I mean, look, we never expected Christian Driver to end up a corner, right? So there's a lot of molding and a lot of decisions still to be made.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the important thing, too, is when you get into some of these conversations about is he this or is he that, and maybe some fans want a guy that's truly this or that guy, even if he's a great prospect, can miss, right? Because maybe he's not as good of a fit as you thought. Maybe there's some things where he can only play one position. These guys being able to play multiple positions lowers the chance that they're not going to find a home on the football field. So I think that is, when you're recruiting these type of players, that's a really great attribute to have. So when you look at, we started with this, we're going to continue with this. This is why I love watching his film, is because he is fearless. 5'9.5", you mentioned, maybe getting 5'10", we'll give him 5'10", but 172 pounds. He plays so much bigger than that. He is, and it's high school, sure, but if you're projecting these skills forward, he's going to get bigger and stronger at Penn State. And if he's this good now, how good is he going to be in the future? I got a bit of a Tyrann Mathieu vibe with him. The speed, the aggressiveness, the fearlessness, and one of the things I really love about him is the ball skills. Watch the way he's able to track the ball in flight and anticipate and get to the ball and make plays. So this is an all-around defender. This is why I'm so excited about his versatility and his fit, because legitimately that's free safety. He's making a play on the ball from the middle of the field and getting an interception. He and Conrad Hussey also have more advanced ability to disguise coverage, dropping into a cover 2 from a cover 0. These things at the high school level, these are really useful tools, and these project to the next level. So his ability to do all of these things, because he's doing them from a fundamentally strong position, he's doing these the right way. I think this is really important to show that he does have the versatility to back up all those things we're talking about him. But there is the one thing that you just can't discredit, is that certain times, and this is why I don't think he's a true corner, he's just gets out jumped because he's not the biggest guy in the world. There are certain situations where he's going to be smaller than the defensive back or the offensive player that he's going up against. So does he have the ability to fight through contact, make those plays, and play above the rim as a football player? That's the area I think he still has to improve. Is there sometimes that he just gets got? You know, like you sometimes you just get got, and some of those places kind of look like they are size related, but he brings so many other tools to the table that I'm excited to see where his future ends up, because I think wherever he lands, he's a guy that is a sure-ish thing. where nothing's for certain, but he's got so many versatile skills that he'll find a home on the defense. So the last thing is we flashed his on-3 consensus rating. Just give us where he is in his overall ranking in the on-3 database versus the consensus ranking. And for fans that are tuning in for the first time, can you explain the difference between the two?
Well, first off, as someone who was also 5'9" and played high school football, I understand getting got. Okay,
Yeah.
I've been there before. 255 nationally in the on-3 consensus, number 21 at safety, number 50 in the state of Florida. On-3 has him a little bit lower, and I'm not sure if it's size related or what it is. I'd have to talk to Charles of Power about it. We have an 89. Which, again, his consensus actual overall rating is a 90.17. So there's not a big difference there. But an 89 is technically the highest 3-star you can be. He's a 32 safety by on-3 and number 70 in Florida. The difference between the two, the consensus, of course, is an evenly rated scale between Rivals, 24/7, on-3, and ESPN. So it's all four evenly weighted. This is where he ends up at, and of course on-3 is just our scouts, so Charles Power and all the gang who do all the scouting for us. But I think it's about right. I think he's personally. I'll say this from talking to Charles and seeing his 100 meter times, which I don't have it on offhand. Was it like a 10.6? I believe it was
10.64. Yep.
Yeah. So seeing some of those, seeing his film, I do think there's a real chance that on-3 moves him up to a low 4-star. I've talked to them about that previously. It hasn't been done yet, but they will update the ratings here before the season starts, I believe. So that's something to keep an eye on with King Mack. But I think it's pretty much right. A high 3-star, low 4-star. The size is an issue, but my gosh, the Honey Badger. I didn't even think of that comparison. You know what Tyrann Mathieu was coming out? 5'10", 175. Or 5'9", yeah, 5'9". It was probably 5'9.5", to be honest.
Right.
Rivals hasn't 5'10", 24/7 hasn't 5'9". He's probably 5'9.5". 24/7 had him at 186, and Rivals had him at 175. So there are a lot of similarities there. And when you watch the film, man, that's something I never really thought of. So that's good work by you with that comparison.
Anything else about the class that you want to talk about projecting forward here as King Mack joins as the 16th member? Anything you're keeping your eye on going forward?
Tony Rojas, of course, on Tuesday. I'm thinking about driving down there. I'm in communication with some people there. Maybe I'm going to go down for that one. We'll see what happens. I think London Montgomery will be popping up here soon. There's talk that Trey Webb could do, I believe it's like July 11th. There's been talk about that. Nobody shot that down, but no one's actually said they've confirmed that. But I haven't talking to Penn State people. They've heard that as well. So let's see what Trey puts out there. But here we go. This is the 2 weeks we've talked about. The first half of July, pop. You're going to see a lot of guys making moves. I think Jason Moore, Evan Link could come in the next couple of weeks as well. And by, I wouldn't know, July 20th. By the time I move into my new house, hopefully July 25th, all these guys are done because I need a break. I need a week to focus on family a little bit.
So we're going to be hoping for that for nothing other than Ryan Snyder's sanity, our recruiting insider, who's been putting in probably at the end of this 2 months straight of work. So thanks so much for your hard work and your diligence. We will be back for the next commit. So we're thanking you in advance because there's more, as you just pointed out, there's more work to be done.
I think it'll be Tony. To cut you off there, I think it'll be Tony, but I am watching London Montgomery here. I think London Montgomery over the weekend wouldn't shock me, but I think London will be early next week. But let's keep an eye on it. Right now, Tony Rojas makes the most sense to be the next one.
All right, so keep your eye out. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification buttons on YouTube so you don't miss breaking news from Blue White Illustrated when a recruit breaks this summer. I'm your host, Thomas Frank Carr. That's Ryan Snyder. We will be back with the next Penn State commit.